waiting on you. All set. Don't let me down. Bring it on!
Bring on the monsters!
I'll do my part! Let the fun begin!
Let's go, Minato! Look out!
These are the last ones!
All set. The apex is here!
You're in deep trouble!
Listen up, brave defenders! My time to shine. They don't stand stand a chance!
I'll be gentle. Promise.
And stay down.
The fight isn't over until we're home safe. Very kind.
We have to hurry.
Yes! Let's go!
For the target!
We need to load up. Now say ah. There's more where that came from. It's our last chance. Reloading.
Keep your eyes on the apex!
That's all there is to it.
We hope you enjoyed the Rampage. For more on Monster Hunter Rise, definitely check out our full review. And for everything else, you're already in the right place. IGN. There are endless tutorials and guides already built into Monster Hunter Rise, but even still, seemingly inconsequential information can turn out to be really important down the line. With that in mind, here are 24 things Monster Hunter Rise doesn't tell you that you definitely ought to know about. Village quests can only be done solo, and gathering hub quests can be tackled in multiplayer, meaning those will be a bit harder, even if they do directly scale based on how many hunters you have with you. Also, the story isn't restricted to village quests. You'll have to switch over to hub quests eventually to finish the story. Once your village quest level is 4 stars, you'll start receiving special license tests. Upon completing these fairly difficult quests, you'll increase your gathering hub quest level by 1 rank. So if you're looking to bypass some of the earlier star levels in the hub, try waiting for these special license tests. Your hunter rank is tied only to your hub quest progress, but you can join any low rank hub quest from the start of the game and any high rank hub quest once you reach HR 4, even if you haven't unlocked the quest yourself. Someone just has to post it so you can join. As an additional bonus, these quests will already count as completed once you do unlock them, except for urgent quests. Those you'll have to do again. At the end of a hunt, press B to get out of that little cutscene so you can carve that monster and collect things nearby. You can also skip cutscenes in general, even in multiplayer. But in multiplayer, everyone needs to choose to skip a cutscene for it to actually skip. You can rewatch cutscenes at your house. In between hunts, check your map of Kamura Village, fast travel to any place with a chat bubble, and talk to whoever wants to talk to you. You can get free great wirebugs and other items, new optional quests, and more. Also, make sure to check this Kahoot nest in the Buddy Plaza for free stuff in between quests. Dango always increase max health and stamina and have a chance to grant skills. If you really like a special limited time only Dango, save it to your usual orders to have access to it whenever you want. These specials aren't available at the tent while out on a quest though. Also, if you're playing with someone who has unlocked more Dango, their menu will be available to you too. You've also got to eat to refill your stamina while out on a quest. Getting well-done steak and rations is as easy as roasting a motley mix at the canteen, but it's fun to cook raw meat yourself too.
So tasty!
When using the Wirebug, there's an easy pattern that'll get you across greater distances. Cast the Wirebug with ZL plus X, then B after a second to barrel roll forward, then repeat. Throw in an A to hang in the air. Simply hold R to run up a wall. There's no fall damage either. Also, when you get knocked back by a monster, press ZL plus B to immediately recover and automatically sheath your weapon, giving you the chance to quickly down a potion. Lastly, prepare a small or large bomb on your item bar, then Wirebug dash and press Y to toss a small bomb or pelt a large bomb below you.
Take this!
Large, non-target monsters are extremely easy to mount with just a few Wirebug attacks, so consider riding one to the target monster, or just luring it there with a stink mink. Once riding it, after landing enough hits, you should launch the monster into your target to immediately make it rideable. Then you just ride the target monster and launch it into walls repeatedly for a bunch of damage and a free knockdown. If you've already ridden the target, you most likely won't be able to ride it again anytime soon. It takes quite a long time to build that meter up again, so just perform a mounted Punisher instead.
Learned your lesson?
You can deal extra damage to an enemy and perform a knockback by timing your Wyvern riding emergency evades just right. Think of it as a parry performed right when an attack would have otherwise hit you. You start out with all 14 weapon types already in your item box, which you can find all over Kamura Village. While there, make an item loadout to easily unload and restock between quests, which you should do every time. Check out the craft list at the box to craft without having to move items to the pouch and make useful stuff like mega potions and armor skin. Then make sure to configure and use your radio menu for commonly used consumables. You can even set to craft from your radio menu. As you hunt monsters, you'll fill out your hunter's notes, which tell you a monster's weaknesses and the best way to get the particular material you're after, whether it's by killing and carving, breaking a certain part, or capturing. You can also find tutorials for each weapon here. Then head to the training area, the best place to practice, experiment, and get to know a weapon, because button mashing just won't cut it for Monster Hunter Rise. Get there by taking the dinghy in the Buddy Plaza, then you'll be able to fast travel there with ease. To shave off a few minutes of each quest, you can capture a monster as soon as this blue icon appears below it, or when your Palico says it's time, by putting down a trap and throwing a few tranq bombs at its face. Though you can learn this if you do the optional tutorial quest. There's another benefit. Capturing some monsters will occasionally unlock new weapon schematics too. Just about everything is more valuable as a crafting component than it's worth to sell, even if it's not apparent now, so gather everything you pass in the field and keep all of your quest rewards. Even golden fry, for example, can be used to make equipment, eventually. The exception, however, is items that are marked as fetches a good price, which you can easily find by auto-sorting your inventory. Sell all that crap as soon as you can. The Argosy's rare finds can be purchased for Kamura points and sold for a high price, too. Some items are exclusive to certain locales, like Icium in the Frost Islands and Eroded Husk in the Sandy Plain, so make a specific point to gather from new locations if you haven't been there before. Armor spheres increase armor's defense, but hold on to these until you craft a piece you know you'll want to keep for a while. Basically, just don't use them on your starting gear. Most materials can be picked up by everyone in a party, but some endemic life, like the puppet spiders and whale nard hunting helpers, can only be picked up by one person at a time. However, endemic life, mining nodes, and other materials will respawn over time. The Argosy and Meowcenaries, though extremely vital side activities to keeping your inventory stocked with important items, also serve another purpose. They're the only way to find some exclusive materials that unlock cool and flashy new armor and weapons, which we won't show you here because spoilers. Your Palicos and Palamutes will learn skills as they level up, but you have to equip them at the buddy board. Though wearing multiple pieces of the same set will grant you a bonus to elemental resistances, it's okay to mix and match. Especially after you reach high rank, you may want to mix different pieces together to find a combo of armor skills that match your playstyle and weapon of choice. For example, Kazu Waist and Legs have Focus and Slugger. Great for hammers and hunting horns, but if you're not fond of the skills on the rest of the set, find something else. As you explore each location, keep an eye out for relic records, also called old messages. There are 60 in total, and it's worth noting that the best way to spot one is on foot. So while riding a Palamute might get you places faster, consider taking the slow route to your next destination to find secrets. Even blunt weapons like hammers need to be sharpened with a whetstone. A dual weapon will bounce, leaving you wide open to attack and deal less damage. The control layout of Monster Hunter Rise is super customizable. My favorite options to tweak are button hold settings to make it faster to mount Palamutes, dash settings so I can press the L stick once to continuously dash, and the camera distance to see my surroundings better. You can also change the camera style to automatically follow the target once you're locked onto it with the R stick. You might hit the village hub credits, but there's significantly more game, monsters, and story after that, so keep going. I can tell you an unlimited list of tips for Monster Hunter Rise, but for more, you'll have to check out our full Monster Hunter Rise wiki on ign.com. You can also see this concise beginner's guide and tips to conquering the rampage, but for everything else, stick with IGN.
With 14 weapon types on offer, Monster Hunter Rise gives players numerous ways to take down their prey. If you're feeling overwhelmed by choice, here's a closer look at each weapon in the game. The slow but heavy-hitting Greatsword is perfect for dealing massive damage. Charge and release to perform a charge slash. The longer it's charged, the stronger the attack. Activating Power Sheath temporarily boosts attack power, so get airborne with the Hunting Edge Silkbind attack and follow up with Plunging Thrust for a devastating blow.
Are you ready?
The Sword and Shield is good for defense, but also boasts two damage types: Cut from chop and slash attacks and Blunt from the shield. Quickly reach a monster and propel upwards, then strike down with the Falling Shadow Silkbind attack, or swing your blade around ferociously with the aptly named Windmill. Guard with the shield to minimise damage, and take advantage of being able to use items without having to sheath your weapon.
Take this!
What the Lance sacrifices in mobility, it makes up for in reach. Strike with precision, or cover a larger area with the chargeable wide sweep. Use the accompanying shield to guard against incoming blows, and strike back with a counter thrust. Twin Vine attaches the tethered kunai into the monster, allowing hunters to quickly close the gap with a leap, while Anchorage absorbs damage to power up regular attacks.
It's all over for you!
Hunters can deal large amounts of blunt damage with the hammer, so it's ideal for stunning enemies and breaking off horns and other monster parts. Devastating charge attacks like the Charge Side Blow, Upswing, and Big Bang are activated by storing up power. While charging, use Charge Switch to access variant charge attacks. Both powerful Silkbind moves, the Airborne Spinning Bludgeon and Impact Crater, are guaranteed to give monsters a headache. This 2-in-1 weapon transforms from an axe into a sword. As an axe, attacks fill the switch gauge. Once full, morph into the sword and attacks will have added effects from the weapon's file type. Keep attacking to reach its amped state, indicated by the glowing sword icon, and unleash a destructive elemental blow.
Any last words?
Invincible Gambit is a spinning Silkbind attack that makes hunters immune to being knocked back, while the switch charge quickly regenerates the switch gauge, enabling you to enter sword mode faster. The Insect Glaive is made up of two parts that work together to boost player attributes and chip away at a monster's health. Vault into the air and perform melee attacks with the glaive, and send out the Kinsect to harvest extracts from monsters. There are 3 types: red boosts attack, white gives speed a bump, and orange increases knockback protection. The colour extracted depends on the part of the monster it's harvested from. This weighty run-and-gun weapon type has 3 charge levels that deliver powerful shots. Check your hunter's notes to see which ammo types exploit a monster's weakness. Fire at a monster, then quickly reposition with the Silkbind glide. You can absorb an attack and retaliate with counter shots, and make the most of an opening by shooting with the bowgun's special ammo. Operating broadly the same as its heavy counterpart, the light bowgun is more nimble and shoots faster. Use the same Silkbind glide to close the gap on a foe, then follow up with a powerful close-range attack. Alternatively, jump over them and shoot from above with the Fanning Vault. Fight like a samurai with the longsword. Perform regular attacks to fill the spirit gauge and unleash spirit blade attacks. Use special sheath after landing a blow to execute a severing eye slash, or use ice spirit slash to counter. The Silkbind soaring kick can be paired with either the plunging thrust or spirit helm breaker to maximise damage. Take a hit while in serene pose and you'll strike back. The dual blades are ideal for fast and furious combat. Entering demon mode lets hunters move faster, strike harder, and evade quicker, but doing so gradually depletes the stamina bar. Attacking in demon mode fills the demon gauge. Once full, switch to archdemon mode to enhance your regular moveset while active. Use piercing bind to lodge an explosive kunai into the enemy, which then detonates, or execute a forward spinning attack if you're hit while performing shrouded vault. The gun lance is a long-reaching melee weapon and a gun that doesn't rely on your ammo stockpile. Follow up thrusts and slashes with shell attacks like the worm stake cannon or the explosive but slow Wyvern's fire. Deal cut damage and reduce the cooldown time of Wyvern's fire by slashing with hail cutter. The gun lance dulls quickly, so regenerate weapon sharpness by perfectly timing guard edge when defending an attack. The hunting horn is both a support weapon and a blunt damage powerhouse. Activate melody effects by attacking and playing note combinations to buff you and any nearby allies. Additionally, line up 3 different notes to unleash a magnificent trio, which triggers all melody effects. Once the horn gauge is full, follow up with Infernal Melody to temporarily boost attack power. In addition, the Earthshaker Silkbind stabs a blade into the monster and follows up with a booming sonic attack, while the slide beat initiates a ground-based spin move. Split into 2 modes, Sword and Shield mode and Axe mode, the Charge Blade is powerful but tough to master. Use sword attacks to build up energy, then use that energy to charge files and perform powerful elemental moves in Axe mode. Performing Elemental Boost improves Axe mode's power, while entering Sword Boost mode stops attacks deflecting. Use the Morphing Advanced Silkbind attack to switch between modes smoothly. The bow excels at ranged combat, letting hunters fire off arrows quickly, or pull and hold the drawstring to charge shots. Use Arc Shot to buff allies, Focus Shot to evade and quickly recover stamina, or the Herculean Draw to increase attack power for a short time. You can also apply coatings to arrows to add effects and make the most of a monster's weakness. All of these weapons are stashed in your item box at Kamura Village when the game begins. If you're about to embark on your first hunt and want some useful tips, check out our beginner's guide to hunting monsters here on IGN.
Are you ready? It's all over for you!
Whether you're slaying fantastical beasts for the first time or dusting off your greatsword after a long absence, it's always good to brush up on your hunting techniques. Here's how to bring home the spoils in Monster Hunter Rise.
Laughably easy.
The hub world of Kamura Village is where players choose a hunting quest and make the necessary preparations before heading out. Hinoa gives single-player village quests, while Minoto offers multiplayer hub quests. If you've spotted the creature you're targeting in the wild before, check your hunter's notes for some helpful info, including its habitat and how it will defend itself when attacked. Next, prepare items and equipment. There are 14 weapon types, whose effectiveness depends on what you're up against. Bladed weapons deal cut damage, hammers cause blunt damage, ammunition damage comes from bullets and arrows, and so on. Different parts of each monster have different vulnerabilities, so choose the most effective tool for the job. Luckily, every type of weapon is already in your item box from the start. Once you're armed, head to the training area to learn combos, or visit the smithy to upgrade weapons and armor or forge new ones.
My hammer's ready.
Also, don't forget to raid the item box. Healing potions are a necessity, but bombs, traps, and buffing items like the attack-boosting demon drug provide an edge in combat. Check the crafting list for any useful items you can make, visit the merchant to purchase supplies, and create an item loadout to instantly empty and restock your pouch. Get some much-needed backup in the form of palamutes and palicos, trusty hunting companions that attack monsters, heal hunters, and even scavenge items. Use the buddy board to select who to bring along, as well as change their equipment, gear, skills, and behaviour. Make sure to hire additional buddies from the buddy handler, and send them off to collect more materials with the Argosy and Meowcenaries. These passive activities will prevent you from having to purposely seek often used items like honey and nullberries, and provide you with unique materials that unlock cool armor and weapons. Plus, you can manage the Argosy and Meowcenaries from your housekeeper, and only have to check in once in a while.
Get your money, Dango, right here!
Lastly, never hunt on an empty stomach. Order a meal of Bunny Dango at the canteen by selecting 3 dumplings to go on the skewer. Eating increases your max health and stamina, and each Dango has an associated status effect that has a chance of activating once consumed. And if you forget to scoff before you leave, food can also be consumed at the tent when the quest begins. Once the quest begins, the monster's location is marked on your map. If it's your first time encountering the creature, it's identified as a question mark. But don't make a beeline for the beast just yet, because there's a lot in the world that can aid your fight. Firstly, check the blue supply box for helpful items. These are provided by the Hunting Guild and can't be taken back to Kamura village, so use them before dipping into your own supply. These items can also provide hints on how to take down or protect yourself from a monster. For example, the guild leaves you some screamer pods to throw at a somnicanth, along with energy drinks to counter its sleep powder. Secondly, each area is teeming with endemic life that offers various buffs and effects. Spira birds increase health, stamina, attack, or defense depending on their color, while other creatures offer a temporary boost to stats too. While out on a hunt, gather everything you pass, especially mining nodes. You'll likely need them eventually. If you're in need of specific items, look at the detailed map in the menu and press X to see the icon list, which highlights where to find them on the map. It will only show areas uncovered by clouds though. Rise also introduces the Wirebug, a handy tool that makes it easier to get around. Fling yourself towards a wall, then hold R to run up it, or use the wire dash to move quickly on the ground. But remember, Wirebugs have a short cooldown before they can be used again. Great Wirebugs are souped-up versions used to propel hunters across large distances in a fixed direction. Once you've spied your prey, it's time for battle. Taking down monsters involves dealing lots of damage, targeting the weakest parts of their body, and learning attack patterns to anticipate their next move. Watch your stamina too. If it depletes, you're an easy target.
Be careful!
In combat, make use of the Wirebug by performing powerful silk bind attacks, such as the Switch Axe's Invincible Gambit, a Wirebug-assisted spinning attack. If you get knocked back, use Wirefall by pressing ZL and B to recover quickly. Try to focus attacks to break off parts of monsters for more rewards. Blunt damage will more easily break off horns and stun them, but cutting damage is superior for severing tails. Keep an eye on how it behaves to get an idea of its health. It'll drool if it's tired, and if it's limping, it's definitely on its last legs. After a while, the monster may flee. If you have a palamute handy, hop on its back and pursue. While taking a breather, use the whetstone to sharpen any dulled weapons, and eat rations to restore stamina. If another monster enters the mix, they will likely start fighting each other. Leave them to duke it out, or keep attacking to wear them down enough so they can be mounted and initiate Wyvern riding. A chance to briefly take control of monsters and deal out massive amounts of damage. Once the monster is down, it's time to carve off your rewards, which are often valuable materials used to forge new weapons and armor at the smithy back in Kamura village. Crafting more powerful equipment is essential to progressing and fighting tougher beasts. If you have your eye on a more particular weapon, hunt the required creatures to bag the resources to make it. Now you've got yourself some new gear, it's time to get back on the hunt. Accept a new quest, fill your belly with dangos, and head out into the wild once more. That sums up everything you need to start slaying ferocious beasts in Monster Hunter Rise. For more delicious dangos and everything Monster Hunter, stick with IGN.
For you!
wow. Okay, this is much more dinosaur-like. We chopped its tail off. Oh, that's brutal. Hi, my name's Joe. I'm a PhD student researching dinosaurs at the Natural History Museum, and I'm about to watch a video about the monsters in Monster Hunter Rise. This looks like a bit of a hybrid between a mammal and a dinosaur. It's got some sort of fur, or feathers at least, and some really long claws. It reminds me of a therizinosaur, which we know had sort of a feathery coating and really long claws at the end of its hands. I like the feathers. They look kind of realistic to me, kind of how we'd expect them to look over the body. So that's quite cool. It does look a bit like a mix of a dinosaur and some sort of giraffe or deer maybe, which is a bit weird. You can see it's got some sort of scorpion-like stinger, it looks like, at the end of the tail, which dinosaurs definitely did not have. But this is quite good. You can see it's got a feathery kind of coating, which is pretty good looking to me, I think. Is he finally dead? It's quite sad.
Here comes the messy part.
Now this is something completely different. Wow. Okay. So first of all, it kind of looks more like modern lizards, so like an iguana or an alligator, something like that. The main difference between those and dinosaurs is that the alligators and the lizards kind of have their arms out to the side when they're walking, and dinosaurs would always have them underneath. That's the main difference there. I do like the kind of spikes that are all over its body. That'd be quite a good defensive measure, I guess, if you've got someone hacking at you with a sword. I'm not sure what these kind of growths are all over its body, but maybe I'll find out. We chopped its tail off. Oh, some lizards have evolved to kind of shed their tail in defense to distract a predator, and it kind of wiggles on the ground and keeps going. We don't know that any dinosaurs did that, but you know, it's. I'll let that one slide. That's fine. Oh wow. Okay, this is much more dinosaur-like. It definitely bears some resemblance to some dinosaurs that we know. We know a lot of the dinosaurs, especially this kind, were mostly covered in feathers, and we keep finding more and more feathered dinosaurs. So that's pretty accurate, and it definitely looks like it's got some for display, some for maybe gliding, things like that. But its head kind of looks like a dodo, so that's interesting. We'll see how that turns out. Yeah, this is definitely the most actual dinosaur-like so far. Oh, apart from that, maybe. I really like the sound he's making as well. It kind of does make you feel like it's some sort of real creature. And the way he moves as well is really dinosaur-like. That's really good. The legs being like underneath their body, directly underneath, and he's moving in the way we'd expect kind of a velociraptor, Utah raptor kind of large predator to move, which is really cool. I mean, he's not having a good time, but I can definitely see the inspiration that they've taken from some real life dinosaurs there. We think with the kind of theropod predator dinosaurs like this, they'd probably have feathers all over their body instead of kind of wisps here and there. So that's the only thing I'd maybe nitpick on there, but no, he's pretty cool. So his wrists, there's a famous scene in Jurassic Park, which I'm sure everyone knows, where the velociraptors open the kitchen doors using their hands because they're so intelligent. But in reality, they couldn't twist their wrist that way. We always say that they were handshakers, not wavers. So the fact that he's holding his hands like out in front of him like that, ready to grasp, is really actually quite accurate. That's really cool. Flying, okay. Got some really cool kind of pterosaur-looking animals flying around this guy. Pterosaurs were around at the same time of the dinosaurs, but they weren't dinosaurs. So dinosaurs just lived on the land. Pterosaurs were closely related, but they could fly. This guy's got wings as well. In terms of if he's kind of modeled off of the sort of pterosaur type of animal, he's definitely a lot chunkier than we'd expect a pterosaur to be. They obviously had to fly, so their bones were really light and hollow, kind of like in the same way that birds are. But yeah, he's pretty thick and chunky, so I don't know how well he'd be able to fly. Oh, what's that? Now that's cool. That's kind of like, it looks to me like a cross between a hippo a crocodile and a turtle, maybe. That's pretty cool. I like that one. That's really exciting. Oh, it's this guy again. I liked him. So this is pretty cool. Like I said before, a bit like a hippo crossed with a turtle crossed with an alligator. It certainly looks more alligator reptile-like than dinosaur-like, but that's fine. We'll see what happens. It looks like a duck-billed platypus when it's running towards us as well. He's covered in moss or something, so I guess he's partially aquatic at least. His face is definitely hippo-like. There's a bit of a mix between mammals and, oh, now he looks like a frog with his, oh, okay. Yeah, the way he moves is definitely more alligator crocodile type with the legs out at the side like that. A lot of these dinosaurs or monsters, you can certainly see where they've taken some inspiration from. My favorite was the Kula Yaku and the kind of raptor dinosaur, velociraptor looking one. I think the attention to detail they paid with that one was really high, and it definitely had a lot of dinosaur features, certainly things that we know did exist in the past and you would have seen roaming around at the time of the dinosaurs. The rest of them, a mixed bunch, I'd say. They certainly look like versions of animals that we know did exist then, and just exaggerated and made even bigger and more dramatic.
Want to watch another experts react? Then why not check out a sword expert reacting to realistic sword fighting game Hellish Cart, or our Monster Hunter Rise review.
Be careful.
put this to good use. And I need some of your parts. Nothing personal. See ya. Good job, buddy. All in a day's work.
Oh, he's going to sleep. He's going to sleep. Stop attacking.
Oh,
Oh, never mind. Why am I even here?
okay, so today I'm here with Casey. Would you call yourself a pro at Monster Hunter?
I would call myself a veteran expert who has 15 years of experience and has a lot of experience teaching people how to play and enjoy Monster Hunter.
We're fighting Magnamalo today, right?
Yes, I'd say Magnamalo is probably the first difficult challenge in Monster Hunter Rise.
This is my first Monster Hunter game, so I'm very curious how to take it to the next level. And it looks like these poses are definitely a way to start. How do I do it? Like this. Yeah.
Oh, you did it.
There we go. Should we head out on an expedition and you can see my skills, if we want to call them that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we bother eating Dangos for this one?
You should always eat before a mission, no matter what, just to get your health and stamina up. It's always helpful.
Okay, good. I'll keep that in mind.
I'm not sure if you know about this, but you should definitely make a loadout of items so that you don't have to manually empty out your pouch and restock it in between every quest.
Yeah, thankfully you can't see my screen, but I have 0 loadouts. I'm going to register my current one.
Yeah, let's go. What would you like to see?
So my normal approach would be to grab a couple of these speary birds, you know, to get me boosted. When I play these maps more, I start to know where the speary birds are, especially the ones right at the beginning. So I know that there was a couple up here. So are they always in the same location, or do they like kind of move around?
So they are in the same location, and there is actually something that you can change about your map. If you hold your minus button, you can bring up the map, and then you can see where they all are.
Oh, wait, you can see where the spirit birds are on the map?
If you bring up your map and then press R, you can see the perma buffers, and those are the spirit birds. And if you're looking for something completely specific, you can press X and then select exactly what you're looking for.
This has blown my mind. I have not used this screen at all.
So you can actually go to your options and go to your game settings and then go to your HUD map type. And if you change it to detailed map, then whatever you leave on your map, you can then see it. And you just have to hold the L bumper to make the map big again.
Holy moly, this has changed the game. Just wait till we start fighting a monster and then it's gonna get embarrassing for me how little I know. I've heard that you should be trying to like hit like the tail off, or you should be trying to break parts off of the monster.
Yes.
Okay.
I used a Thunder Beetle on the Kuliraku, and the Thunder Beetle actually makes it easier to stun it. So if it has Thunder Blight, you should aim at its head. Oh, and then I just wrote it. I think I want to ride it to the Puke and fight it.
So would you say that's the best thing to do, is once you find a monster, try and find another monster to fight it so you can get damage off both, I guess?
Yeah, so I tried to launch it into a wall once or twice, and then on the third time, launch it into the other monster so I can continue doing damage to the target monster. And like, we don't really have a target monster right now because it's an expedition, but let's just say we're trying to kill Kuliraku.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll just attack him until he kind of runs away.
I'm thinking maybe we'll be able to kill it right now because there's a blue icon on the map actually. It's actually capturable, so let's see if I can do that. We just got it.
Oh, nice!
Let's head back. I actually want to show you some stuff around the village as well and talk through your strategy with the longsword before we go and take on Magmello.
Cool. All right, that sounds good to me.
Would you meet me in the Buddy Plaza?
Buddy Plaza. Okay, I'm going to teleport there.
So if you follow me over to behind this tree.
Oh, yeah?
And then climb up it.
Okay, I've never been here before.
There's a Kahoot nest.
Oh, you can just get free stuff from here?
Yeah, so come every 3 quests and you'll get like a full amount of stuff there, but you can get a whole bunch of different stuff. You can get trap tools, you can get wet fishes, you can get Lagnia apples like you just did, you can also get steel, silver, and maybe gold eggs. I haven't personally got one of those, but those are things that you can sell from your box, because I know a lot of people have a lot of trouble with making money in Monster Hunter when they start making the equipment.
So you just saw me fight the again.
These monster names are they're just made up words.
Yeah, this is a different language right now. Okay, so the Kulu. This thing I'm looking at on my screen, we just fought that and killed one. You saw me do that in action. Do you have any particular tips for me and my longsword?
Yes, I do. So I'm just to preface this with that, I am not a longsword master. I just know the basics of how longswords work. How much do you pay attention to your gauge that's up there next to your sharpness that looks like a longsword?
I look at that when I remember, which is probably about 3 times a quest.
Basically, the main goal of using a longsword to get the most damage out of it is to get that up to red. You want to keep your internal gauge rising so that you can do your foresight slash to avoid attacks when needed. And then you also want to keep your main gauge up by doing either the Silkbind Sakura slash, which is a switch skill you unlock very early in the game, or by completing your Spirit Blade combo with the round slashes.
I've not been using the foresight slash at all, so that's something I definitely need to incorporate. What do you reckon? Do you think I'm ready for Magnum Arlo?
Let me look at your armor.
Oh no, there we go. If it's easier, I can tell you what it is in the menu.
Oh, I can actually look at it from here. I can just judge you quietly without even letting you know. I think that you have a pretty decent set. I think it's worth upgrading your armor just a little bit for Magnum Arlo, which you can do very easily.
I should throw a couple points into these.
I definitely think so. He has a lot of very powerful attacks, especially some that can one-shot you.
Cool, alright, I'm gonna eat some dangos and then we should get ready to go.
I do have a suggestion for a really defensive Dango set that you should have. So Dango Defender, and you should have Magnaroar.
Yes, I'm looking at Magnum Roar right now.
Cool, so that gives you Moxie, and what Moxie does, it says it prevents fainting 1 time when damage taken exceeds your remaining health. So when we start the quest and you have this activated, you'll actually see these 2 arrows on your health bar, and your health has to be above those 2 arrows for Moxie to kick in. And then the last one, if you think you're going to be using a lot of potions, Dango Medic is useful. There are a couple of other ones that I'm not sure if you have.
Right now I'm stealing all your dangos.
That's right. If you're playing in a hub with someone who has more Dango than you do, you actually have access to all of their stuff too.
Yeah, I'm right now, this is the full menu. I'm not going to see these dango for a long time, so I'm going to eat as many as I can.
Now you just got to post the quest. Oh, you left without me.
Oh no.
But that's okay, because I can still join it. I just have to wait for you to see the cutscene.
Thank goodness. I was going to say, I did not want to fight Magnum Arlo on my own.
Yeah, let's definitely collect some spirit birds before going after Magnum Arlo, because he is quite fearsome.
Or making like a trail for me of spirit birds. Oh my goodness. What am I even talking about? I have that detailed mini-map to tell me where they are.
You do?
Why am I pretending like I'm finding these on my own? The map's doing all the work.
Let's see, where is Magnum Arlo? He's right down there.
I'm feeling kind of ready to take on Magnum Arlo. First thing I've got to do is stop getting lost in this underground cavern.
Well, he's on the ground.
Alright, let me just bring some heat. Oh, okay, let me not bring some heat. I just jumped straight into his head. Okay, let me, I presume a similar thing, I should try and go for his tail.
Yes. There's this one swipe that he does on the ground that is like really long, so you actually want to roll towards it. There's actually a general tip with monsters a lot, like roll towards the thing that's coming at you, because then you'll roll through it. Now I have Pelifire Blight, so I can kind of show you what I'm doing. Oh, is he leaving? Oh, he's leaving. What a jerk! Alright, well, if you see, I just left it behind me on the floor.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you can actually attach that to him.
You leave it on the floor, and if he hits it, then he'll get hurt by it. Alright, he's going to sleep, he's going to sleep. Stop attacking.
Oh,
never mind.
Oh my goodness, okay.
When a monster goes to sleep, you should bomb it.
I see, okay, that's when you start using the items.
Yeah, because when a monster is asleep, the next attack dealt to it actually does even more damage to it than normal.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Alright, there we go.
Okay, I'm gonna keep slashing his tail. That, as a longsword player, that is probably what I should be doing.
Yes, but attacking whatever is in flames is also really good for Magnamalo, because if you do extinguish them, it will prevent him from powering up and doing that ultimate move again, and it also knock him over. Oh, he's poisoned. All right, and we knocked him over again.
Hopefully that gets his tail. Oh, yep, that gets it.
So you can break off a piece of his tail, his back, his head, and his arm blades. Yeah, I'm gonna trap him, just to give us a second.
Oh, nice, I saw you set a trap.
He's right behind him. Oh, he's tired.
Oh, nice. Oh, he's now pink?
He's powering up.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Oh, he's gonna do his thing.
I'm going as far away as possible. Oh, okay. He just targeted me.
Yeah, I like to Wirebug dash in the air and hang and see which way he's gonna go, so I can, like, go. Oh, he's limping.
He's nearly down, What do you reckon? Do you want to try and capture him?
I will leave it up to you.
I feel like I'm getting close to slashing that tail off.
Okay, let's do it, and I'll keep working on the head.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna jump back in and try and get that tail off. Oh, if he doesn't knock me over.
Oh, we did it!
And he's down. Nice.
I thought we had more time. I guess maybe we should have just captured him.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna have time to capture him, but no, he had enough. He had enough already.
I think upgrading the armor is definitely useful too, because I was surprised that really big attack didn't one-shot you, and I think it was thanks to increasing your armor.
I'm actually very happy. I can see how that is a lot more difficult than the monsters I fought previously. Yeah, okay, that's great news. Oh, I just saw you there clapping for me, so I appreciate that.
No, of course.
That definitely felt difficult, and I know it's going to be, more difficult going forward, but thank you very much, Casey. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. It was fun.
Soon, I'll be up there in the high rank quest with you, and then we can start working out whose armor set looks better on each of our Palamutes.
So you're a fashion hunter. I'm just going to go for skills. I'll probably look terrible, but I will do good damage, and that's all that matters.
You'll see me trying to do as many weapon poses as possible.
And for more on Monster Hunter Rise, besides my cool weapon poses, stick with IGN.
I'll be gentle. Promise.
There's nothing quite like using a fire-breathing T-Rex to beat the crap out of a dragon to recapture that childhood joy of smashing action figures together. In a series built on exciting moments, it's impressive that Monster Hunter Rise still manages to surprise and delight with things like this. At the same time, its progression can feel a little flatter than that of Monster Hunter World at their launches, making it feel more like a foundation waiting to be built upon for now. But after spending dozens of hours getting used to Rise's wonderfully enhanced mobility and faster pace, it's going to be hard to ever go back to the way things were before. If you're new to the series, Monster Hunter is essentially a gauntlet of epic boss fights against spectacularly diverse monsters, who you then turn into nice pairs of pants. Each victory earns you materials to craft better equipment, to take down tougher monsters, and so on and so forth. Success relies on a healthy balance of preparation and skill, and it's kept fresh by the combination of 14 radically different weapon types, the strategic puzzle of breaking specific parts of a monster, and the intoxicating allure of that next piece of gear. Monster Hunter Rise in particular is full of fun new ideas, but it also benefits from many of the streamlined innovations that helped make World the best-selling game in the series. Things like load-free maps and using items while moving feel vital after having now spent hundreds of hours with them. Meanwhile, other features like separate village and hub quest lines for single and multiplayer return some of the organization of older games. That mishmash of ideas makes Rise feel like a huge mechanical step forward compared to the last Switch entry, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, but more of a sidestep in the context of World and its Iceborne expansion. That said, Rise literally takes a massive leap forward of its own by introducing the Wirebug. This recharging resource lets you scale mountains, cover vast distances, and use special silkbind moves unique to each weapon. But potentially the most impactful Wirebug move of all is far more subtle. If you get knocked back, pressing ZL and B will instantly pop you back up onto your feet with your weapon sheathed, letting you quickly re-engage or heal up without missing a beat. That has a big impact on the pace and feel of a fight relative to other Monster Hunter games, cutting out lots of potential downtime. That's the philosophy of Rise in a nutshell. Fill the dead air and get to the action quicker. To that end, you get an adorable, rideable doggo to travel faster, and a bit of the usual pre-hunt prep has been morphed into mid-mission endemic life, allowing you to pick up creatures along the way that can fill the gap of certain tools, buffs, and items. The most important of these are the colorful Speary Birds, which boost your stats up to a certain point. It's very smart that these buffs are gained through exploration rather than menu management, though spending the start of every hunt collecting birds can become a different type of tedious. The expanded monster riding is a similarly fun but odd addition. Once you've subdued a monster, Rise gives you full control to move and attack, just like your dog, even letting you drive them across the map to beat up a specific target. It really is a blast, but it's also weirdly easy to trigger. That means the other monsters are now basically just tools to be used, not much different than the tiny endemic life pickups. That Rajang I used to fear is little more than a club to be wielded in Rise, which is certainly entertaining, but I don't think even the notorious Devil Joe's chaotic interruptions would be as impactful here if it were in this game. But goodness gracious, what good monsters there are to fight. Every single one of the brand new monsters is an absolute banger. From the bird monkey Bishaten throwing persimmons at you, to the fire crane Acnosam and its extremely cool armor set, they're all excellently designed. The wide variety immediately available is impressive too, offering a lot of choice fairly quickly. Of course, the small drawback of that approach is Rise also peaks quicker, leaving the second half of its progression a little less surprising. The good news is that once you reach high rank in the hub, these fights are made fresh again by introducing new moves and more aggressive behaviors. That's not a new trick to the Monster Hunter series, but it is one of its most important. Rise's funkiest new addition is its rampage hunts, which have you set up defenses to protect against waves of monsters like a tower defense game. It's a fun novelty, reminiscent of past siege fights like Kolve Teroth, but with more control and against significantly weaker monsters. Playing with a party makes the multitasking madness more satisfying too. One person can man a turret, while another places defenses, and a third works to reduce the cooldown on powerful super weapons like this. Rampages are undoubtedly amusing, but the fact that they never change a whole lot strategically does cause them to wear a little thin. The few apex monsters that cap off some high-rank rampages are the real return draw, but eventually I just wished I could fight those without the tower defense preamble. That said, Rampage rewards do unlock some cool customization. Weapons have specific skills you can use Rampage exclusive tickets to enable for extra bonuses, and there's even a distinct Rampage weapon of each type that acts as a sort of blank slate to modify to your liking. Couple that with the new switch skills that let each weapon swap specific moves to alter their combos, and Rise introduces a welcome dose of playstyle control from past Monster Hunters that World streamlined away. It's a shame then that Rise lacks any sort of endgame to really push the limits of all that choice. It took me just under 50 hours to see basically everything there is to see. Obviously that's not a small amount of time, but high rank still feels like it's missing that last layer to really test you, and its story ends on an unsatisfying cliffhanger. There are no new challenges unlocked afterward, no tempered monsters, and no elder dragons at all apart from a couple cool story-specific ones. As a result, Rise ends up seeming like a great foundation for Capcom to build on, rather than a deep game of its own at launch. Thankfully, the excellent support World received gives me plenty of faith it will grow, and Capcom has reassured me already by scheduling the first free content update for the end of April. Monster Hunter Rise mixes classic ideas with some of World's best improvements, alongside clever new mechanics and fantastic monsters of its own. Not all of those ideas are slam dunks, but they are all fun, especially the mobility Wirebugs bring to every fight, which is so great I never want to give them up. The post-launch content updates Capcom is teasing can't come soon enough, but Rise is still already a thrilling step forward toward the new normal World so boldly introduced. For more Monster Hunter Rise, be sure to read my full written review on ign.com, or watch an Apex Arzuros Rampage. And for everything else, keep it right here on IGN.
Coming.
Yeah!
It's no mere coincidence that you were given Red's kinship stone, and now a Rathalos egg. This is destiny.
I'm so glad you're still alive. I thought I'd never see you again.
Okay, pal, let's do this!
Hey, what's that?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous, but it'll work out.
Red? Moon's blessing emerge.
Quick, hurry! We don't know if it's the right monster. Our mission is to see if it truly has catastrophic power.
Rathalos are disappearing from their natural habitats.
Angela?
Monster Hunter Stories is a spin-off of the popular action series with a shiny, new, undeniably cute coat of paint and a completely different combat system. But don't let that deter you, because this heartwarming story is served with amazingly fun RPG gameplay that never gets old. With a rock, paper, scissors basic attack system, skills to choose from, combos to activate, a variety of quick-time events, and a special kinship gauge to fill, there's a lot going on in each turn-based battle. Fights against up to 3 enemies or one really big boss remain engaging, and that's not even considering the thought that goes into choosing your companion monster, or monstie, based on its elemental strengths and weaknesses. There are lots of tiny rewards, like activating a double attack or landing a perfectly timed special kinship ability as a final blow. Animations can drag a bit, but to keep things at a fast pace, literally, you can up the animation speed by 3 times its usual rate. Monster Hunter Stories is a beautiful 3DS game, but I did spot somewhat jarring texture loading issues when exploring outside of battle and in towns. Monster Hunter Stories is much, much more than its battling system though. There are materials to gather, weapons and armor to forge, and most importantly, more than 100 monster eggs to steal, hatch, and raise in your own customized way. It's a daunting but delightful task. Every time I searched for a high-quality egg or hatched a monstie, I got the rush usually reserved for opening a pack of Pokemon cards. But even if I hatched a duplicate monstie or one I would never use, the effort was never wasted because of the right of channeling. This great customization system lets you pass one monstie's genes to another, so you can get fascinatingly creative with them. Want a Rathalos with Kezu's Thunder Breath? You can do it. You can do anything as long as you find the ingredients to accomplish it, and you never know what sort of useful gene you can uncover in the monsties you hatch. With so many things to see, do, and discover, I found myself accidentally grinding, not because I needed to progress, but because it was fun. This innate urge to explore not only rewarded me with necessary XP, but also with new monsties and crafting materials. It doesn't sound like anything extraordinary, but all of these rewards mean that any outing into the field will result in at least something to show for it, well beyond just a level or 2. Monster Hunter Stories does suffer from a just barely challenging enough story mode, which goes on for around 50 hours. It's a small problem that's made more prominent by the lack of any scary consequences of dying, except when carrying an egg, which causes you to lose it. There is, however, real challenge in the collection of monsties and in the increasingly difficult endgame trials, the Tower of Illusion and Labyrinth of Ordeals. There's also a tournament to compete in which mirrors how PvP works. Yeah, there's PvP. I'm so curious to see what kind of monsters other players create. Though the solid gameplay is definitely a main selling point, Monster Hunter Story's namesake, its story, isn't something to overlook either. The story may be a bit fluffy and the dialogue occasionally gimmicky, but it also managed to elicit genuine surprise and emotion. Seriously, I teared up at the end, but then again I'm a sucker for heartfelt kids media, just like Pokemon. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed my 53 hours with Monster Hunter Story so far. It effectively eliminated the oh-so-common RPG grind, implemented a novel turn-based battle system, and sincerely surprised me with a seemingly limitless customizability. Though wrapped in a pleasant sugary coating, Monster Hunter Stories did all of this while retaining the spirit of the Monster Hunter world with some small yet enjoyable nods to fans. I really can't wait to dive back into the endgame and hatch myself a Kieran. For more Monster Hunter, check out all of the Amiibo unlockables, 14 minutes of Monster Hunter World gameplay, and the Monster Hunter Generations review. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
So tasty!
It is said that long ago, a flightless Rathalos was born in these lands.
That Rathalos is no runt. I must report back to Kyle.
You're with the hunters.
It's my job to capture the Rathalos that escaped from Mahana village. Well, it's my duty as a scrivener.
What's going on? Hunters and riders are working together?
With this, our plans will finally come to fruition.
We can't let you interfere with our plans!
This might hurt!
That Rathalos get up to any funny business at all, I'm gonna put an end to this.
Just believe.
Don't you want to know what's happening to the world? Uncover Ratha's secret? You better up your game, kid. Here it comes.
The wings of ruin. No!
Your grandfather, Red, was a fine, upstanding rider. All riders have to strike out on their own someday. Kana can guide you. Use the experience to learn what you're capable of and what you must do as a rider.
This'll put you out of commission.
Come with me, please. I just know this Rathalos will help us once it hatches.
Off we go!
Let's go.
That kinship stone, right? Some even say it was such a monster that laid waste to the village that once stood on this site. I've never seen anything like this.
So you're saying that inside this egg,
Should this Rathalos hatch and awaken to its destructive power, You will be to blame for what happens. Are you prepared to take that risk?
Rathalos aren't monsters to worship or to make bonds with. Don't you get it? They're nothing but dangerous pests.
Don't back down, buddy!
Keep them safe until spotted. Ratha!
There is nothing to fear.
It is said that long ago, a flightless Rathalos was born in these lands.
That Rathalos is no runt. I must report back to Kyle.
You're with the hunters. It's my job to capture the Rathalos that escaped from Mahana village. Well, it's my duty as a scrivener.
What's going on? Hunters and riders are working together?
With this, our plans will finally come to fruition.
We can't let you interfere with our plans! This might hurt!
That Rathalos get up to any funny business at all, I'm gonna put an end to this.
Just believe.
Don't you want to know what's happening to the world? Uncover Ratha's secret? You better up your game, kid. Here it comes.
The wings of ruin. No!
Beams of red light illuminate the sky, and Rathalos everywhere begin to vanish. What could this all mean? Hoping to follow in the footsteps of your grandfather Red, you begin your journey as a rider. You meet Anna, a Wyverian girl who once knew Red. It's almost as if Guardian Ratha has orchestrated your fateful meeting in the sacred grounds. First, you're entrusted with Red's kinship stone, and then an egg from Guardian Ratha. Rathalos will guide you. Red's words live on as you embark on your adventure. You experience some ups and downs, and, at long last, the egg is ready to hatch. A Rathalos bursts forth, but he is unable to fly. This is the very Rathalos predicted to bring ruin to the world. When the wings unfurl, disaster will befall the land. Where will your kinship lead you? Towards hope or terror? Your destiny awaits.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryozo Tsujimoto, producer on the Monster Hunter series.
I'm not sure why, but the monsters near that pit have been acting up. The strange light from the pits is what's enraging monsters. At least, that's the Guild's theory.
Light that makes monsters mad.
Seems to be happening all around. The Guild's calling the lights Rage Rays.
Tons of Rathalos vanish, and strange pits appear? There's no way it's a coincidence. They got some kind of creepy plan in the works.
Don't you see? He has the same destructive power as the legendary Ratha. He's far too dangerous. He's too much for you to handle.
Are you out of your mind? You care more for one Rathalos than for the world it might destroy?
Now, believe in Ratha, and he'll believe in you. Through your bond, you can steer his power towards or away from chaos. It's up to you.
Okay, Frostbang! Now!
I have to find the truth behind what's causing them. Ruin is coming to our world.
The village is in danger! I won't let this happen!
It's the Nergigante!
Meow-de-doo, partner!
Get you! You know him, Naviru?
As we just saw in the trailer, there are pits in the game that emit light, known as Rage Rays, that cause nearby monsters to become more violent. These Rage Raid monsters are appearing all around the world. So far, we've seen the mass disappearance of Rathalos, monsters losing control because of light from pits, and the birth of Raised Wing Ratha. Where will it all lead? Strange things are happening, and the strength of your bond with Ratha will be put to the test. We also saw a rider named Avinia make an appearance with Frostfang, her monstie. We saw them in the previous installment, but they have grown up a lot since then. Avinia will join you on your adventure as a battle buddy, offering support with her hunting horn. We'd now like to touch on a couple of game features. First, we'll talk about obtaining monster eggs, and then about transferring powers and skills between monsties using the rite of channeling.
Eggs can be found in the deepest part of monster dens that randomly appear in the field. There are even some rare dens that pop up infrequently where you can get your hands on elusive monster eggs and ones that contain hard-to-find genes. Bring an egg back to the stables and hatch it to get a new monstie for your adventure. The rite of channeling is a ritual that allows you to transfer a gene from one monstie to another. By doing this, you can awaken a new ability in the monstie receiving the gene. During the ritual, you can choose which monstie will channel the gene, which monstie will inherit it, and which slot you will place the gene in. You can raise unique monsties by awakening new skills and abilities in interesting combinations. Each monstie possesses a variety of genes. The color of the gene represents its element, and the pattern of the gene represents its attack type. Align 3 genes of the same color or pattern in a row, either vertically, diagonally, or horizontally, and you will receive a bingo bonus. This will grant your monstie even more power. From placing a gene in an empty slot to stacking a gene atop one of the same type in order to upgrade it, there are many ways to enhance your monsties. By transferring Yon Kutku's Fireball gene to a Lagombi, you can give the Lagombi the ability to manipulate fire that it would never have naturally. Or, if you transfer genes from a Glavenus, Gameth, Mizutsune, and Astalos to an Orzuros, the Orzuros will be able to use the skills of the Fated Four from Monster Hunter Generations. Through the rite of channeling, you can create a versatile monstie that can use power, speed, and technical skills. Or you can upgrade your monstie's fire element abilities until it's a fire specialist. Transferring genes allows you to individualize your monsties, creating ones that nobody else has.
Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin will be released worldwide on July 9th, 2021. Pre-orders are available for both the physical and digital versions of the game. For more information regarding pre-orders, please visit the official website. So that's the latest news about Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin. We hope you're looking forward to its release. More info will be on the way soon, so stay tuned. Alright, let's have a look at the next title update for Monster Hunter Rise. Have a look at this new trailer.
storm incarnate. My queen, my king. Divine beasts with grace replete. Finally the twain shall meet.
As you can see, the new free title update, Monster Hunter Rise version 3.0, will be releasing on May 27th. We'll be showing you some of the content of this new update, so we hope you enjoy the show. Now here's the director, Yasunori Ichinose, to do the honors.
Hello everyone, I'm Yasunori Ichinose, the director on Monster Hunter Rise. I'm very happy to see everyone all over the world is enjoying our game. Thank you. To make sure you've got plenty more to do, I'll be showing off some of the new monsters and features of version 3.0. First up is a new variant of Valstrax, the flagship monster from Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. It is known as Crimson Glow Valstrax, a mysterious elder dragon that can freely fly through the sky by changing the shape of its wings, allowing it to survive at unusually high altitudes. We made sure to give it a new form with new attacks, so we hope you look forward to it. We're introducing a new Apex monster, Apex Zinogre. It's different from the regular variant, and its body is covered in golden lightning. It'll appear during Rampage quests, but you can take it on with a standard quest as well.
I am storm incarnate.
We'll be adding a new ending to the game's story. What danger awaits the hunter when Ibushi and Narwa come together?
Divine beasts with grace replete. Finally the twain shall meet.
I won't spoil anything on this show, so you'll have to play the new quest in version 3.0 to find out. The update will also contain the following features.
We will also be offering some new DLC on the same day as the title update.
Yamogi reporting for duty. I'm gonna turn you into a Dango.
That's my buddy. Buddies lend me strength.
We've got lots of colorful new content to spice up your hunting life, so keep an eye out on the official website and our social media. That's all about Free Title Update version 3.0 for now. Now let's have a look at the roadmap for upcoming updates. We plan to offer regular updates with new event quests and DLC after version 3.0 as well. June will also see part 1 in a series of Capcom collabs, kicking off with layered armor to turn your Palico into Tsukino, the mysterious feline from Monster Hunter Stories 2. Anyone who completes the corresponding event quest available from mid-June will be able to get this armor, so don't miss out. There will be more collab-layered armor of Capcom characters in the future, so keep your eyes peeled for more information. We will have more to share with you on the updates and event quest schedule at a later date, so stay tuned. We hope you look forward to what's coming to Monster Hunter Rise in the future. If you have save data for Monster Hunter Rise, you'll be able to unlock the Hunter's Kamura armor from Monster Hunter Rise in Monster Hunter Stories 2. Similarly, if you have save data for Monster Hunter Stories 2, you'll be able to unlock the default rider armor from Monster Hunter Stories 2 in Monster Hunter Rise. Don't miss out on this crossover content between two different Monster Hunter worlds. To reiterate, Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin will release on July 9th. And Monster Hunter Rise, which is already available, will be getting the free update version 3.0 on May 27th. We hope you have fun with both of these games.
Hello and welcome to IGN's Monster Hunter Digital Event Post-Show, all part of IGN's Summer of Gaming. All summer long, we'll be bringing you exclusive gameplay and reveals and exciting first looks at the hottest new games. But today, we're talking about Monster Hunter. We just saw a brand new presentation from Capcom showing off tons of new details and some cool surprises coming to Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2. So let's break it all down. I'm your host, Zach Ryan, and with me to talk all things Monster Hunter are my very best Palicos, Casey DeFreitas and Tom Marks. Hey friends, how's it going?
Good. I appreciate the title of Palico. Hello.
That's right.
Hello.
Guys, we just saw a very cool Monster Hunter presentation, and I want to get right into the good stuff. So let's start with Monster Hunter Stories 2. Casey, you reviewed the original Monster Hunter Stories for IGN. You gave it an 8.9, which on our scale means great 0.9. What's got you so excited about Monster Hunter Stories 2?
Just for the record, if we were going off of the new IGN system where there are no points, I would have rounded up to a 9.
I mean, you're already right there. I get it. Yeah,
it's almost there. But anyway, I'm excited about Monster Hunter Stories 2 for a whole bunch of reasons, and they actually got into detail about one of the things I loved about Monster Hunter Stories so much, which is the rite of channeling. And it's kind of like a deeper RPG mechanic. You don't really need to mess with that much to play Monster Hunter Stories, but I really liked doing it. But basically what this is like every single monstie that you get, so monster bestie, your monstie, your best friend monstie. Each of those have 9 possible gene slots whenever you hatch an egg. And so it kind of gives you a reason to get more monsters, as many monsters as possible, because then you can take those genes and give them to a different monstie. So you can make really cool combinations. Like you can get a Rathalos and give it a bunch of ice type moves from like Lugombi, for example, and then it can use Snowball, and if you get its ice attack up enough, it actually will even slightly change colors and turn into like an ice type. At least that's how it worked in Monster Hunter Stories, but there are some changes in Monster Hunter Stories 2 that I am very excited about. So in the original Monster Hunter Stories, you see that the 9 grid, you're like, if you had a top left gene, you can only replace the other gene on the other monster in the top left as well. But it looks like in Monster Hunter Stories 2, you can move that gene to anywhere that you want, which will open up a lot more possibilities. And you can also stack genes to upgrade them, which I believe is new. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's new though. So it looks like it just is going to open up even more options than there were in the original one. And I love this mechanic.
More customization is always a good thing, I think. Yeah, Tom, you didn't get a chance to play Monster Hunter Stories back when it came out on the 3DS. Did today's presentation convince you to jump in with the sequel? Are there things that you saw today that you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, I was already looking forward to this game. I just kind of missed it on 3DS, the first one. It wasn't really like a conscious sort of avoiding it or anything. This looks really cool, though. I'm excited by the idea. One of the things that I really love about Monster Hunter through World and Rise and that sort of those previous games is the world, the universe, the monsters as characters is like they're very like alive and evocative, and it's a great world. And I'm excited to kind of explore that from a different point of view, from like this more story driven point of view with completely different systems where you're, befriending monsters rather than just murdering them. Although this rite of channeling thing does get me very nervous about how sacrificial it is. Let's just put it that way.
You're not wrong.
But I think it's just a really cool kind of spin-off take on a universe that I already really, really like. And so this presentation, I was already pretty into it, and this presentation really got all the stuff that Casey talked about really got me in the door even more of like, oh, this seems like it's going to be like a really cool RPG on top of like just the other sort of take on Monster Hunter that already has me interested.
Yeah, as a new Monster Hunter convert, I think that the interesting thing for me is that it is at the same time so distinctly Monster Hunter and then also something so different. So I don't know. I'm excited to jump in and check this one out as well. Casey, you're IGN's Monster Hunter expert. What kind of deep cut Easter eggs did you see in this trailer that will get super fans really excited for Stories 2?
I don't know if the things that I noticed are completely relevant to the actual game, but I thought they were cool when I saw them. So people kind of speculated after seeing Mizuzune, Gammoth, and oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank, Glavenus last time, that Astalos had to be in here as well. We did see some of Astalos, and they even mentioned those 4 monsters, the Fated 4 from Generations, the flagship monsters from that game. You'd be able to transfer over their moves. I don't know if that will do anything specific when you do the Rite of Channeling with all 4 of those monsters, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think that'll be pretty neat. We also saw the return of Lavinia and Frostfang, which were really cool characters from the original game. And she rides a Barioth, so it's interesting to see that. But a few, like, even more granular things that definitely don't matter, but I thought was cool. So in that fight scene we saw with Nergigante and Rathalos, that pose that Nergigante does is, like, basically taken straight out of a cutscene in Monster Hunter World where it's fighting the Huntsman, which I thought was cool. And then we also saw, like, 3 bad guys, and 2 of them were in Death Stench armor, and another one was in Nergigante armor. The Nergigante was kind of like the beta armor, except red instead of purple, if you see there. And I also noticed that the Raisewing layered armor, that the pre-order bonus, you get alpha and beta versions. So I'm wondering if we're going to get alpha and beta versions in Monster Hunter Stories as well, as far as the armor goes. And last really granular thing, considering Naviru's reaction to Sarge, that new Palico, I thought that might be a number, and I'm not going to explain that for people who don't want the original Monster Hunter Stories to be spoiled, but he's missing the marking on his right wrist, so I guess he's not, but he definitely has something to do with Naviru's past.
I also really like Sarge because the first thing that he said is "meowdy duty," and I thought that was a really good line for him to get introed on. Tom, you're also a longtime Monster Hunter fan. You haven't been playing quite as long as Casey, but I would consider you somewhat of an expert on the topic as well. There's a ton of monsters in this Monster Hunter Stories 2 trailer. Do you want to break down some of the monsters that we saw throughout the course of this trailer?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, right? Like, we already talked about a bunch of them, like the Fated 4. Yeah. We already talked about, the thing I think it's really interesting is there's a really interesting mix of things like the Fated Four from earlier with Glavenus and Mizutsune and Astalos and Gameth. But then there's also a lot of the Monster Hunter World guys where we saw Legiana right there. We saw Puke Puke as an armor thing. We saw Paolumu, Kuluyaku. So there's a lot of those newer guys. And then there's a lot of in between where we also saw little glimpses of people like Kazu, Tigrex, Nargacuga, some like classic ones like Basarios, right? There was this sort of like wheel for the rite of channeling part that they showed. And there's just like, you know, dozens of monsters around there. And if you see even in the menu when they were on Lagombi, in the top left-ish corner, I think, of that little book page, Lagombi is listed as like number 5, like 51, right? So there's going to be just dozens of monsters, it seems, that you can find and mix and match and train up and do all that sort of thing with. It really was like this presentation was really dense with monsters that they were showing.
In the original Monster Hunter stories, there were more than 100 monsties you could befriend, and there were even more that you couldn't befriend. So I'm really looking forward to this huge roster. And I also think it's worth mentioning that even the like smaller herbivores like Aptonoth and Popo, like you could ride those as well. So there's a whole lot of variety to be had in Monster Hunter stories, and it really puts a spotlight on these monsters.
So, as an uninitiated Monster Hunter fan, you're telling me that the original game had 100 of these monsties, and that this new game might actually have more?
I think it might. I mean, it almost has to, right? It's got to do something even more than the last one.
That's
an easy
crazy.
place to go.
Yeah, that seems really insane to me. But I'm looking forward to playing it. We do have to take a quick break, but that should give our viewers plenty of time to sharpen your swords and grab a large, tasty lump of roast meat, because we're headed back into battle for more Monster Hunter presentation post-show right after this. Stick around.
Not only is IGN the world's biggest media brand for games and entertainment, but we also have a team of some of the world's biggest fans of your favorite franchises. From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered. IGN, the #1 source for all games and entertainment fans worldwide.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
What is happening right now?
That's exactly what happens on every episode of Devs React to Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
Welcome back to IGN's Monster Hunter presentation post-show, part of IGN's Summer of Gaming. I'm Zach Ryan along Casey DeFreitas and Tom Marks, and let's get right back into it. We've all been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Rise this year, so we're stoked when any new monsters are coming to Kamura. But this presentation in particular brought us 2 new big boys to tackle. Casey, what can you tell us about Valstrax?
So, wow, Valstrax is one of the most unique monsters out there, and I feel like that says a lot considering how many unique monsters there are in the Monster Hunter universe. I feel like this trailer and presentation did a pretty good job giving an overview of Valstrax, but fun fact, Valstrax in the Japanese name for him is Valfox. So, like, Val for Valor and Falk for Falcon, which makes sense considering the Peregrine Falcon is the fastest bird in the world. fun animal facts for you guys out there who like monsters and animals.
Wow.
But Velstrax is probably the fastest monster out there as well. It's basically a jet engine dragon. It takes in air through its chest and compresses it and pushes it out of its wings in like dragon energy. And you can see it here. It literally looks like a comet when it's doing its ultimate attack, which is why it's known as the Sky Comet Dragon. And I think its nickname is like the Argent Comet, and all of its quests have, most of them anyway, have Comet in the name. And I'm really excited to see Velstrax coming to Monster Hunter Rise because so many people haven't been able to fight it. Like in Generations Ultimate, I don't think you encountered, I guess you don't have a real fight with this Elder Dragon until like Village level 10 or G rank, but you can fight it in the demo. But this is really cool for fans who did fight it in the past as well, because it is a brand new variation of Velstrax. It's called Crimson Glow Velstrax. It looks really neat. It also has new attacks that like complete red glow of its wings. It's neat. This is a cool dragon. I like it. Thumbs up.
I think it looks super cool. I've not fought this enemy before. I didn't play Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, so I'm excited to fight this new monster. Just like I'm excited to fight any of the new monsters that have come to Monster Hunter Rise. But I'm also excited to fight variations of old monsters. And we saw Apex Zinogre in this presentation. Apex Zinogre is new to this game, but obviously based on the Zinogre that is already existing in Monster Hunter Rise. Tom, what did you see about Apex Zinogre that get you fired up to face this monster again?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Zinogre. I think Zinogre is one of the cooler monsters in Rise already. This Apex version of him, the Apexes occupy this sort of in-between, right? They're not a completely fully new monster because they don't have like unique armor sets or weapon trees or anything like that necessarily, but they do. This one is, is bright yellow rather than the sort of normal greenish coloration. It has these huge lightning attacks from the look of it. It looks really, really cool. It looks like it's already taking one of the already very fierce monsters and kind of making it even crazier looking and more intense and more aggressive, which is great. That's going to be a lot of fun to fight. I mean, it's going to be very stressful, but it is also going to be a lot of fun. The Apexes, I like that they also said that this Apex is going to be able to be fought outside of a rampage right away, and that the other ones that they added, Rathalos and Diablos, look like they'll be able to be fought outside of rampages now too, which is great because I enjoy fighting the Apex monsters, but having to go through kind of a very similar rampage to get there is not overly interesting to me. So the fact that I can just immediately go into a hunt and fight this thing is going to be really, really cool. I like seeing more Apex variations, but also I wish we had gotten a glimpse at a couple more monsters in this, at least one more monster than this in this presentation. But it is very, very cool, and I am very excited to fight Velstrax as well.
Yeah, I think the idea that you can fight these monsters without having to tear through a full rampage to get to them is probably the most exciting thing coming on the 3.0 update. But we know that new monsters aren't the only thing that is coming to this update. There's a bunch of new stuff that is dropping tonight. So Casey, can you walk us through some of the other more important parts of this big update coming down?
Yeah, and before getting into it, I just wanted to mention that this reveal of Apex and Ogre kind of completes this mural, the stone mural at the top of the waterfall in the training area. It shows a bunch of different monsters, and they have all been Apex monsters that had deviant versions in Generations and Generations Ultimate. So it kind of completes the mural, which makes me question if we're going to get any more Apexes. I mean, probably, but the mural is done. But anyway, so we are going to be able to fight all of those Apex monsters now out of the rampage, which is what everyone just said. But I don't think this necessarily means we're going to be getting new armor or weapons to go along with them like we haven't in the past, but these quests have been really good for farming the blood run jewels and lazurite jewels to craft decorations, and also to get some silver and gold eggs for getting some money. And I mean, they're just cool fights. They're just really neat monsters. Of course, we're going to get some more DLC and cosmetic stuff. There's one particular thing I want to call out for that, and that's the little wing drake Kahoot. I thought was just really cute. I needed that Ninetales Palico layered armor, and now I'm going to need this Kahoot layered armor to have my two best pets, my dragon and my Kitsune. I'm excited for those. But of course, there are going to be more monsters. It says, so on the list, it says Velstrax and Apex and Ogre, and then etc., which is what they did last time. So I think it's safe to assume there will be new monsters in this update. I'm very excited to dive in and discover what those are later tonight.
Yeah.
But we also saw that So we could already change the color of Rampage weapons, but in this list it says we'll now be able to change the appearance of Rampage weapons as well using materials, which sounds like a bigger variation than just color as well. Of course, new quests, new boss battle arena, new weapon trees, armor, layered armor, etc. And then of course, the story is getting a new ending, and all we know is that Ibushi and Narwa are coming together, and they didn't want to spoil anything else for us. But I guess my question is, like, what does that mean? Like physically, are we going to be fighting Narwa and Ibushi physically morphing together, or are they just going to physically be in the same space? We're going to fight both at the same time. I'm
talking about
curious.
some kind of fusion monster situation.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Are they going to do a fusion high here? Like, I want to see what's going on.
Well, as horrifying as that sounds, I am excited to get like an actual ending for this game.
Right.
No spoilers for the main game, but I definitely feel like at this point, if you're watching, upwards of 15 minutes into a post show for the second update of Monster Hunter Rise, you've probably finished the main game. And I got to say that the ending to the main game was a little disappointing. So I am excited to see a more definitive ending to this story. And, kind of see what the game has in store beyond that as well. I'm hoping for some new monsters beyond Zinogre and beyond this Valstrex as well. But I wanted to ask you guys, we did get a glimpse at the roadmap that takes us through August. What did you think of what Capcom has in store through for Monster Hunter Rise through the summer? And what do you hope that Capcom's got planned for Monster Hunter beyond that time?
I think so. The roadmap that they laid out was pretty heavily like DLC and Capcom collaboration focused, right? Which is cool because the Capcom collaborations that they've done in the past in previous Monster Hunter games have been phenomenal, right? They've been really fun and really weird and really cool. The first one they're doing, as we see here, is going to be Stories 2 related. So I'm excited for those. I am also a little bit what's the word, like wary, or a little bit like still curious, because that was basically the entirety of the schedule that they released through August, right? As you can now see here, is through the end of August is just DLC event quests and Capcom collabs. And that doesn't mention specifically new monsters the way that previous kind of roadmaps have. So I'm really curious kind of about the bigger content updates we're going to be getting as well. And if that's going to, it doesn't seem like they're going to be maintaining the pace of these first 2 months past release, which is fine because this pace was really, great. It was a ton of new content really quickly, but I would like to see more new monsters, that sort of thing going forward. And we haven't really gotten that indication yet.
Yeah. And I think we're all hoping for some kind of major expansion or pseudo sequel in the same way that Monster Hunter World had Iceborne, right? Like, right. I think that, traditionally Capcom has, well, I say traditionally, but I guess it's just been for the last couple of games, where they kind of release a definitive edition or an additional, like major expansion to a Monster Hunter game. And I think we're all hoping for that as well. Yeah, Casey?
I think that's pretty much been the case for all previous Monster Hunter games. I think we in the US kind of experience it differently up until World, and because they would come out with the base game and then come out with the expansion, and then we would get that game with the expansion with G rank already in place a lot of the times, at least after try anyway. So I think we can almost guarantee that we will be getting something like Master Rank or G rank, some sort of expansion with Rise. And I think just because internet is more readily available, it's going to be something more like Iceborne rather than repackaged as a totally new game like Generations Ultimate versus Generations.
That's a great point. Unfortunately, we are all out of time, so we got to wrap it up. But I want to thank Casey and Tom for joining me today. And that, like I said, that wraps up our Monster Hunter post show. But IGN Summer of Gaming is just getting started. All summer long, IGN will be bringing you tons of gaming news, exclusive reveals, and so much more. Join us tomorrow for our coverage of Sony's State of Play Horizon Forbidden West presentation. Then on June 10th, we dive deep into Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest with over a dozen world premieres. And after that, the IGN Expo heats up with tons of brand new gameplay and in-depth interviews for the coolest games on Earth. Oh, and there's also this little thing called E3 that we'll be covering every press conference and break down some of the biggest news in the industry. IGN Summer of Gaming is here all summer long, so catch us on YouTube, IGN, your smart TVs, pretty much anywhere you can think of. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you right here on IGN.
IGN Summer of Gaming 2021 is presented by Army National Guard. Pursue multiple paths while you serve. Reach your greatest potential with Army National Guard and USAA Insurance.
Not only is IGN the world's biggest media brand for games and entertainment, but we also have a team of some of the world's biggest fans of your favorite franchises. From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered. IGN, the #1 source for all games and entertainment fans worldwide.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
me, ign-live, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, the best user-generated videos and art, memes, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
What is happening right now?
That's exactly what happens on every episode of Devs React to Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.